And hello, and me people them again. And I don't come again with another video. And I know say some of una wey they watch me online when they see and anyway, una sorry for the small delay in transmission. And we get some very serious things them we can discuss today. And for the record, Mina Lamin Fofana, as una always don't they know. And when I say very serious thing, we can discuss on very important things them. Things them were very much important for the well-being and the welfare of Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone now the only country where they don't born me and you where at the end I know say the only country me and you really know, irrespective of and we they outside the country, irrespective of the Sierra Leoneans we already make a life for them outside Sierra Leone, and we all are Sierra Leoneans then because we all carrying the same passport and we all carrying under one flag, going at the green, white, and blue. But again, and there are things them way important, way we don't see for the past years, where we don't see year in year out they always they happen. Even some not dey like for talk about them, some we dey talk about them, but again the way the government they react to them, then they react to them negatively because of and you know need for say you mind or you say you the truth, then one way and the other one person just look at them, then you know like the entire thing, you know. We election na 6 days don't left, and 6 days to the 2023 June 24 elections, which of course we dey go for go decide again whether we still want continue with this government or whether we want forget the new government for coming. But again, we also need for look at most of the important things. Like I always they say, as an activist, you know, you might not like wetin I they say, you might not agree with wetin I they say, because I know say one thing when it comes to political opinion, a whole lot of people get this a different way how then they interpret your own opinion because simply you know they talk the language way they want for you. And the language still remains say Sierra Leone is bigger than any political party. You know, Sierra Leone is bigger than any political party. The reason is that because Sierra Leone is a state where they govern by a constitution. And this book here, now the sacred, just like how we can say the Bible and the Quran. And this now the sacred document for the faith of them two set of people. The Christianity, this the Bible the sacred book that now the laws them way they govern them. So whatever way God be unveiled to in people them. The same goes to the Muslims. The Quran are the secret books, which they also believe say the laws and way God begin. Those are the laws and way they govern them. So and also the constitution of Sierra Leone. And with constitution now the sacred book. Now in they govern the entire Sierra Leone. Because if we go beyond that constitution, then we do anything differently against what in the constitution do, that don't definitely become a violations of the constitution of Sierra Leone. Which along that anybody will do that, then you did contrary to the laws and every amendment wey parliament bin don already do. You already dey contrary to am. But again, like I say, some people no know say dis vote wey dem dey vote, or even though we dey in ten d. So I get for even though we no know how the 24 get for look like, but first and foremost, me as an individual, as a person, I always dey denounce any violence or anything wey dey engage for the life of Sierra Leoneans, or wey dey create any problem for the past 11 year war wey we see, anything wey go lead we to the empire dem dey. They condemn any form of violence, condemn any form of intimidations, condemn any form of anything wey no go able for give you the way for really show say yes, this na your right and your duty as a Sierra Leonean. And also as a Sierra Leonean, na your duty for let you also know say e also know for let whatever na your problem, whatever na your grievances, for let the state able for listen. But let we talk about the state. We dey talk about presently the present government today we get. Like I say, the present government we get today, when the His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio come in power in 2018, in range of time expires this year around April. Nine in range of time expire na that office. They don't hold that office for 5 years, just as the mandate when the people be able for give. In the interest that a campaign on various things. One, it can for can fight corruption. Then two, it can for can change the narrative of the past government for make a different pathway. With some of we be see and say, okay, this na a better thing for we all. But one thing is that we are not be the imagine, neither be the feel or be the expect. It's not how they don't rule this. They don't rule the country for 5 good years. The things then from the start of 2018 up to this moment. I just want rub more on that particular area small. Like I say, person not go able for like the other person able for see say you go whatever they say go sweet you. But again, I not too worry, but your opinion and you're entitled to ram. Whatever you say, how you say, you're entitled to ram. But I dey tell you, you were the support SLPP, Maada Bio specifically for run again for another 5 years. You don't really sit down, you ask yourself, some of in a get people and where they live abroad, where they ask them for money because of things stronger, things difficult in the country. But una no also they stand also as also citizen. Una decide for which all una time on una relatives and where they live abroad they struggle, which I believe say some of una not getting knowledge how get the money there abroad, how they work for them. But again, you go prefer for stick with a man where he literally not able for do anything for the country for the past 5 years, because simply you believe say na you kingsman, you believe say na you tribal man, or you believe say na una common at the same side. Then which at the end of the day, this man able do anything, instead he continue for the support himself in family and other people and we close where they within the close circle of your own time. Then you where they support him, you where they go na street for go dance, you where they go team up for go dance for him. You they take phone every month or every 1 2 weeks, you call your family abroad, ask them for let them send money for you. You they tell them say the country stronger. Then you still ready again for go vote somebody like that. If the man not able get a breakthrough in 5 years, then waiting you feel say he go able for do the next coming 5 years. How you feel say the country go able look like? First, uh, the president he don't abuse the constitution of the republic. He also don't every right given to every Sierra Leoneans na the country. Since where President Bill take power in 2018, you don't get the calculation and figures of how many people don't die up to this moment. This now a question. From where President Bill don't take over, you don't ever calculate all different scenarios and more don't get across the country. How many people inside these 5 years we already don't die? This now be one of the things them we Zainab Sharif talk, which at the end of the day, police then go book come up. You know, they say the fact because they censor people them waiting there for say or how them for say am because you want them talk in your own interest. When they talk about democracy, and when we talk about democracy, this now the rights of the citizen for decide whether they want let it represent them through the ballot. And also again now the right for the citizen for also condemn or then discuss the affairs of governance. If they see say not the really go na the way they want them. And one of the biggest problem, when this government don't do, we all see wetin happen at Tombo. Now an example, police they don't become force for bad instead of them say force for good, but they don't become political animals. The police don't become political animals. They only there for serve the interests of the politicians. They only there for serve the interest of the state. But then they forget say the state where they serve, if you and me not pay them, then they forget say there is no state. A state cannot survive. You cannot run a state without the support of your citizen. You cannot move a state. A state cannot function when the people are not what are not properly taken care of. In this line, the state get a responsibility for make sure say they adhere to the people cry, they adhere to the people them voices, irrespective of who that vote for you or who that not vote for you. Sierra Leone just feel like any other country outside Sierra Leone. You not go get everybody in the country for support SLPP, neither APC. No. I know they talk on this because people get for the way they decide who's waiting they want. This not a free world. Sierra Leone na a free country, not to a banana island. Now a free country where everybody getting right for determine what they want, how they want am, or which part they want go. You not go really deny that. You not go really say because of you not like that person or because I not you not like am, then me self not for like am. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, living in a free democratic state, a state like Sierra Leone, which I can say now, it's not a democratic state because the president don't abuse the power, the office of the president. He don't abuse in power. They don't misuse in power. They don't lead the people in a way where the country don't become like a, with the even the feel say we go even end for be like when the Christians they talk about the Armageddons, talk about the last days. If people you censor freedom of expressions, what thing you don't do? You also don't tell the people and say, no, let them begin look at how you call them a way out, then go able for vent their anger. Now, law we look on what happened in 20 in during the war. When you read the TRC report, I don't know how many of una where they watch me live. I don't know how many of una we already don't listen the TRC report. I don't know how many of una we already don't read the TRC report. Now the TRC report make a whole lot of recommendation just after when the war end because we be see the one way we take up the greatest responsibility, he face the greatest responsibility. And then after the war, This the recommendation where the TRC make. One of the things and we attribute to the war. Every day we dey talk say Sierra Leone na a fragile democracy we get to for all and for as baby. But if the politicians then continue for they open the doors for let that fragile democracy we will get to become something else, then we go look at a state where they go into anarchy. And which of course we not really want a state for go into anarchy. The president now the honor of fountain. He get the responsibility for rally every Sierra Leoneans. He get the responsibility for make sure say every Sierra Leoneans go home, he able for take care of a family. But if you they call you your own citizen because simply they not vote for you they call and say you they call all the one them way they way don't talk something where you not lucky, call everybody terrorists in the country. Then tell me who not the terrorist. Let the president tell me who done are the terrorist. The man will not vote for him, or the man will come down the street for demonstrate say the country hard, the country difficult, fuel prices don't go up, commodities half commodities in the market don't go up. Waiting with the eat way we they call the bread and butter, everything don't go up. I can still recall when JJ Safa be 98.1 in 2018 when then they campaign. Then campaign solely on the bread and butter. Say Sierra Leone they starve. Then in 5 years, after the government don't thief, they don't loot the country, they don't clear the every resources. I even doubt if Sierra Leone get any money where this government go able to account for. If this are the throw a challenge to the government now, say if the government really believe say Sierra Leone get for say there is anything, the government cry bitter one say they not meet nothing at the cover of the past government. Then now on we in your time, at the challenge the government say the government not get a dime, they not get a dime. Now the cover where them go talk say this nine we get na Sierra Leone. This na an open at the challenge the government. Say they not get a dime. If the government believes say they get a dime, then get something now the consolidated fund, then let the government really make them and public come out to the people. But at the challenge them say they not get a dime now the consolidated fund, they not get a dime. So you not get a 50 kobo. Then so you not get shishi, not even kobo. For let you go remember say Sierra Leone get an account because the president, the first lady, the chief ministers, and how you call her, finance, they already don't wreck the country. Now imagine, uh, there are things where people not ever know about. Make I make this too clear to una. Uh, President Bio, they go around tell people and say the international community they impressed with the work where they do now make them they give them money. That's to that fallacies. That's bogus. You they go one thing where we need for one let people and know, let the listeners they know, let people and get ideas on this. Let them know say this is it. When you they go now the IMF or the World Bank for go borrow money in the name of Sierra Leone, in the name of your state, you know, there are them money there are with them people where they give where you go for go borrow. Uh the government be they talk about say austerity. The past government don't introduce austerity. Yes, the past government introduced austerity because the past government not be intent for play on the demands them with the IMF or the World Bank acts for how the money them for be done give. Because if them be do one at that moment, waiting for the happen, we for be talk about different things. But now, everybody there within the social media, the supporters and there within the social media, that they talk say, the president they work now made the World Bank they give them money. Now because there are systems, then institutions they are get. There are systems when the institutions they are get. Because the institutions they are no say Then get certain amount of money them when then they keep. Them money then they way then they keep. Then get certain set of countries them because then no one let you institution get a breakdown. When the institution get a breakdown, waiting they happen. You they find out say it go create something way then say no go even wish then go the left yonder again. Send people and say okay, law we go see say we able fight it because that institutions and no one see any breakdown at the country we go lead to another civil war or go lead to anything where the international committee go be forced for begin send then resources over there. So waiting and they do. Then they tell you say, okay, now you need A, B, and C. This A, B, and C where you need. Now this you need for do. If you do this, then we gonna say you dey per control. Now one thing where I believe say people don't know or when a whole lot of people not get ideas on. Now say just after the election, now we forget about APC be the intent for austerity. But the austerity where they be and where this government win, the austerity where they be and in order for be funny. Because even the IMF and the World Bank don't caution the government on the line of expenditures. How then they spend the country resources. Their money they are where then they give. If I tell you, say in the history of Sierra Leone, this government don't get the highest debt you not go ever imagine. Then only tab day you talk about we not get anything where we go able for sure. Now the government they go around they tell people and say I be dey listen the president one of in campaign messages them and not just remember the exact side way it be go. I don't know if na corner or so when they proud about how the international community don't recognize Sierra Leone. you know, you dey look about how other person, this person we don't make in don't place done. Oh, no, sorry for that. This person we don't make in don't place done. Then you they wait for him for like and tell you say kudos, well done, job well done. Then the person where the problem they meet. This is not about how you sell the name of Sierra Leone outside Sierra Leone. It's about how you provide the basic necessity for your citizens. You know, if you cannot provide the basic necessity for your citizen, then do not think about receiving recommendation from the outside world or from the outsiders. Because whatever way the outside world think about you or how you present yourself, and then again for also make sure say a labor in a way where it affect your citizens and particularly. Now we can begin to the audit report where I make when a be end up for let the government really look at we and label some of we say we now the perpetrator or the causer of whatever will happen on August 10. You know, because the president and the first lady, like I always they say in the previous videos, the president and the first lady don't make sure say they don't strip the country from everything. Now then they across the country they sing hallelujah about the international community. You they praise how the man with the outside Sierra Leone they think about you. What about the people then with the inside Sierra Leone? And we talk we talk about the audit. Now the auditor in the 2020 audit which exposed the government, I always they say the only independent institution at that country now be the audit report, not even parliament. I no ever consider them. See, now then wait about corruption, then waiting they do. You get the corrupt parliamentarians, then we go also call you that parliament and say let's go answer. Then we no answer, then use the corrupt police system. Then come, then go harass you, intimidate you. Then you use the corrupt judiciary for make sure say they're able for put things bear you. So is it we get three arms of government. And those three arms of government, trust me, if they're not independent, that state don't look, they don't become a banana island because there is no system in Sierra Leone. There is no. All the system we need for protect the citizens, the Sierra Leoneans, has been corrupted. You know, then they dance to the music and the tones of those corrupt politicians. Then they dance on the music and the tones of those corrupt ministers. The president being at 98.1, the talk say when the audit talk about in office, imagine the audit talk about the president in office for money we enable for account for in how you call am, then receipt wey dem ask for money wey the man dey spend on international travelling, enabled for account for am. The first lady in office, because the one wey dem create for themselves, not to a statutory office, enabled for account for the amount of money wey don enter to them. Wetin dem do, dem don divert that money into their own pocket, dem don siphon that money into their own life, dem don siphon am in a way that dem believe say maybe dem pikin dem no go poor again. Now, these are some of the things dem wey we talk on that day. Decide say it, enough is enough. Enough is enough. you know, when we talk about enough is enough, it's enough. Let the president left for cry the people them. If the president, the office of the president, the office of the vice, the office of the first lady not get anything for hide. The interesting part of this new political appointee, um, this way they appoint as the auditor general, you know, then come out and say the office of the president, the office of the first lady, and the office of the vice president not met the criteria for let them audit them. you know, these people just take we for be fools. Oh my God, you know, they just take we say we not even know we not just doombe. Then take we for be fools. The auditor, the office of the auditor generals, the office now the only way that the institution that way go make we know. And one of the greatest thing I always they talk about Ernest Coleman, I was not even a fan of him because he's a big thing, But one of the things I always appreciate, Ernest Coleman, I pass the bill say every audit report them for make them public. So you see, and the SLPP be they sing hallelujah, then they sing song about the auditors general in report, when in their position. Then even the interesting part of it, they even use the auditor generals in report for set the commission of inquiry. So how interesting it is. Then use the auditor generals in office, then use the auditors report. We don't come out here in here out for let them go set up the commission of inquiry. Then which at the end of the day, the same auditor where them be the praise, them be the talk about, then they sing all kinds song about the same auditor again. Now the same auditor again, they say they don't mismanage in office, then suspend them. Then for over how many months? 30 days. Now because simply the president, the first lady, and the vice president, they're not just one. Let these people of Sierra Leone know say then are thief man them. And I can tell you, these guys are thief. Whether you let come, you not let come, the president not thief man, in wealth not thief man. So if they I go challenge them, if the president believes say they have nothing to hide, then let them make everything public. You know, sometimes we can look at these things, we just take them for be fun, but honestly, it is not because this get for do with the life of the citizens of Sierra Leone. This get for do with the life of we young men. This get for do with the life of we young women. You dey go for go impress the international community, then you forget for even provide for your people and for it. Then you dey go and pass around shamelessly. They go and tell the international, they tell the people and say the international community okay with we shamelessly. You dey pass around shamelessly. They go and talk say the international community okay with we know we don't pass the human rights index, we don't pass this, we don't pass all index, we don't pass all that. Okay, that's good. The government don't pass everything. Then now we look back to the country. Waiting we don't pass. We talk about free education. That's waiting and they sing. Then after I come out again, the president shamelessly also they tell we say shamelessly also they tell we say and how you call am, they tell we say and they don't do everything in manifesto. Now you get the how you call the man name, the JJ Safa. Shamelessly they tell the people of Sierra Leone say they need to fix the country economy in 5 years. Now when they come back into power in 3 months, they go fix the country economy. What an insult! What an insult! You look at the people with the chronic poverty, the suffering of the country, then you dey tell them say let them vote for you in 3 months, then you go able for car, you go fix the country economy. You not fix the country economy in 5 years. Now in 3 months you go able for fix the country economy. Who does that? In 5 years, you not able fix the country economy. Now 3 years you can't fix the country economy. No. This now a deliberate act. Lord, we talk about the August 10. What thing happened on the August 10? That'd be a very sad situation, a very sad moment on that day. Also, you get 21 and die, then 6 police officer. That'd be a very sad day. And I also wish for we continue for the pray for the life of them one day we die that day. Lord, we continue for pray for them. And Lord, we continue for support the families of them 21 civilians and we die. The government get a whole lot of things with them forbidden and avert that problem. Then we get the government get every resources under their disposal for make sure say then relate themselves with the people. Now the commission of the commission where the president set, we can talk about the August and the report we them can with. After even when we be already pull we own reports done. Then the report we them come with. In the report, they put on the report say then put on the report say now what the things that will cause the problem on that day. Now be the issues of the country in Tranganes, the fear crisis, the bread and butter issue, that be a genuine concern, but that not be so sufficient for the kind of violence we they see out. Then which they end up the president call them terrorists and call them say they want to overthrow the government. And the commission, the committee pull them out say because most of these things will happen at the opposition stronghold. They make an example on this thing not happen at Kenema, it not happen na Bo, it not happen na Kailan, inside and they all be peaceful. But one thing they're afraid for talk about that report, one thing they not great come out with that report is that Kenema now the stronghold of the ruling government, which is the SLPP. Bo now the stronghold of the ruling government, which is the SLPP. The east and the east, the southeast, the south and east of the country are the stronghold of the ruling government, which is the SLPP. Then forget for mention, say, in those areas, whether every Sierra Leoneans where they die with poverty, they no go ever rebel against SLPP. They can never. Akenema come on. So when you they talk about when we say die-hearted supporters, now a no-go area for Kenema, you can never, because Kenema now a side, even the entire Kenema they die with hungry, they no go ever rebel against SLPP. The same goes to Bo. If the few people will not they support the government be come out for demonstrate on that day, then waiting you feel say for be happen. If we don't create a problem. But like I say, the east, the south and east part of the country, no matter how people they suffer they, because the sufferness she done they. We people and they now they then see them. No matter how people they suffer they not go ever rebel against SLPP. This now one of the things where the committee for be don't take into an account. The second thing we them for be don't take also into an account is that this not Australia are the first country where people don't demonstrate. You know they call them people and they terrorists because they don't tell you say let the president go. We see what thing happen na Asia and just not able for recall the name of the country where it take almost a month people they demonstrate because they say they don't want the president. And on the interesting part of the president not be even not be even there around. The march na the palace of the president. Even the people and they wash themselves na the pools. The pool who said the president can wash. The president no ever call and say na terrorist or he call and say na they don't come for car overthrow. No. Not only that, we don't see across different parts of the world where people they demonstrate say they no want the president. It not create problem. Where people demonstrate na America because of the election result. Then get the way they call them. Then at the end of the day, you see how things happened. When the incident of George Floyd came in, we see how the world people and demonstrate. We see the level of violence in America. You know how many people and don't tell Joe Biden in America for say for left the presidency for resign? They're not called a terrorist. In every democratic state, people don't pension reform na France. Let not go far. Pension just because of the age where the government say it increase the age for pensioners. People, how many weeks people they demonstrate? The president not go to map na pulpit say call the demonstrators and with that level of violence, You know, calling in a terrorist then. Then the committee go come call. Now make way this woman talker. This woman they say now be a script. Indeed, now be a script. Because if the government want make a give a series of example of who side across the world where people they demonstrate against government, see they don't want them. They not go out and call them terrorists. Yes, you are elected. You can be elected, then bully come on. Boris Johnson was elected. The biggest margin where you ever imagine. Now UK. Then force him out of office. They come on. In how many months UK don't get how many prime ministers? And then because they force them out, you not call the people and say they're terrorists. Then you see them, you call the people and because they tell you say angry they are the country. Then not they eat. All the one they will talk about you label everybody in a terrorist saying that then they feel the problem are incitement. I go wish that the government they define the word for me incitement. No, incitement not get anything for do with where somebody they talk in mind. You they give the youth then jamba, una they give them rum, una they give them all seed for go create problem. Una not ever they call them people and they say na incitement. The states get the responsibility for make sure say all them problems and they. How many times you don't see the president? They really they try for make sure say they along, they go along with his citizens, irrespective of who that vote for him or not vote for him. From the day where he sworn in as a president, he not only become a president for the Sierra Leone People's Party, but he become the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And not ever they left that country, go tell you, say, and not ever let the president tell me, say, which year I don't left that country. Then in Boku fly there away, it don't do, we don't come. A guy tell you, say, I come for do then trip there and in the interest of the Sierra Leone People's Party. And they come bigger in the interest of the Sierra Leoneans. Then give them money, then give them. So all now where they pass by social media, they say World Bank or IMF don't give them money. Una forget about them one day. If Madabio win this election, believe it or you leave it, comes from now to November, Sierra Leone go become a place where it be say everybody go begin the fight for you so in your because the austerity where they be now where they come. Not small. So, like I say, now the opposition they ask for the electoral commission then come out with few things. And make no mistake. Now the right of every Sierra Leonean for demand waiting and want because the access of information make them very clear. Thank God not to Madabio be signed now and then bill. I don't know if it for be signed now. Access to information. If the electoral commission not able to come out with a clear message on the things and the opposition not put out to them, then I can also tell Una say, and this let it not just be law, we not just sit down and look at. I encourage every Sierra Leoneans, please share this video, let it go every side. Share them, let it go outside. I encourage every Sierra Leonean for also do a sit at home tomorrow. I encourage every Sierra Leonean for do a sit at home tomorrow. And also again, I want to make this very clear again. This is not for the opposition. Democracy, when we talk about democracy and the rule of law, and the police, make I not forget, before they come to that, make I count the police in. The police, they forget, say not to presidents, bill, they pay them. Now the people of Sierra Leone, they pay them. Now from the taxpayer, then they pay them. The police want a duty for protect life and property, not to forgo protect the president, in family, and do that. and the ministers. If the police never for protect life and property, then waiting the police then they for waiting them believe say then they pay them for. Waiting them believe say then they pay them for. The police don't become how for call them people way they always they now label and they label now. Make a pull and that way they. The police answerable to the politicians. You get right for make sure say there are peace, there are security concerned about the state. Because when we talk about the state is not a building. The state make up of the people where they under them. And who are the state? Who are the state? If the police will say now the politicians or the president, who are you facing at the state? Now the people of Sierra Leone are then at the state. We don't see them year in, year out, then they dance to the music. But shame on them. Shame on the police force. Because the police force, therefore make sure say there are law and order. How you they do them? I see the police, the military, the ONS get a conference, then they talk about the Samora Kamara on a mandate where he give the electoral commission. Then I see ONS, the police force, the military, they come out with a statement say they go stand tough on this issue. Anyway, shame on the police. You can't tough on this issue because of waiting. Which reason? If you can't stop on this issue, waiting you they do, they escalate the issues. Waiting the police need for do now for de-escalate the issues. Make sure see all the parties were involved, bring them on board. Make a way for make dialogue for let you de-escalate the issue, not a way you they threaten the citizens and then you believe say you they under control. No. Sierra Leone a democratic state. It's not by speaking tough. It's about how functions the institutions they are there. How the institutions they are, they make sure say that they live to the standard of waiting the people and they look after. Because at the end of the day, now the people and they pay them. At the end of the day, now the people and they answerable to. If you they go talk tough, because you believe say now when you intimidate the people then you believe say the people go able for succumb. No, you are getting it wrong. The Inspector General of Police for even know this better. It's not by speaking tough. Law will also make sure say if their institutions they are need for be accountable. The office of the president need for be accountable. The office of the first lady needs to be accountable. Every kobo way that they give them office there, they need for be accountable. If they not be accountable, then what are you say they need to be accountable for? Because the same thing we see during SLPP in time, make no mistake. Any new government where they come will go see the same things again. So like I say, if they not meet to the demands of the oppositions, then I encourage everyone, I ask everyone, law we do sit at home tomorrow. And also they encourage the opposition. Democracy, not only they talk about the ballot when people and they able for go, but you can also cripple the effort of the government for make sure say them become very irrelevant by waiting, boycott the elections. If the electoral commission not able for come out to the mandate is that, then I can also encourage the opposition for let them boycott the elections. Then law we see how President Bill intend for run Sierra Leone for 5 years by in one grade. So And like I say, these are the concerns. You get anything towards this life today? Please drop your comment. And anything where you need for know, drop your comment. Share this video, make it able for go. Lord we get them. Let people able for see them and able for listen. Share them. Once again, like I say, na my name Lamin Fofana. And I want for thank una so much for una way watch me live, for una also we get for listening. I know it very much important because Sierra Leone they on a brink on things where this government not go able for handle again. But if you believe say you need forgive this government another 5 years, then ready for waiting the BN. Thank you so much. Una have a very nice day and I wish you a pleasant time.